Today we're going to talk about hollow body. Hollow body is one of the key gymnastic shapes. It's one of the shapes and positions that is useful for all kinds of skill transfer. It's good for producing power in a hanging position. It's good anti-extension work, so if your body's put in a position where it wants to go ahead and get into lumbar hyperextension, it teaches you how to correct that, and it's just useful for all kinds of things like rolling and all kinds of things that are useful that will have transfer over to other movements that we do. The hollow body and the hollow rocker can be a really advanced movement, so you want to think about what your scale backs are. You also want to think about why you're doing it, so that if you have to substitute it out of a conditioning workout, you want to make sure you can maintain the same stimulus. So I'll get down on the ground. It's useful if you look at, we have a video on quick assessments, and doing a core assessment with hip control is really useful. You just want to see whether or not people can maintain a hollow body position first. So if you're curious about that, check out one of our other videos. But for today, I'm just going to focus on the hollow body. With the hollow body, we always want to make sure that our lumbar spine is pressed up against the ground, and we want to make sure that our ribs are in, so much so that you sort of turn your body into a rocking horse shape. Easiest way to find the hollow body, if you've never done it before, is to lie on your back and get your knees and elbows touching. I call this the baby position, with your shoulder blades off the ground. This is naturally the position that we want your spine to be in, so you can sort of have this global flexion through the spine like this. And then what you can do from here is you can either just go straight out into a position where you feel your abs are under tension, but your lumbar spine is still pressed against the ground, or what you can do is you can kind of go up like this and then gradually come out and find a position that's good for you. So first you want to find that, and it's really important when you do this movement that people understand what it feels like to be in the hollow body position and to break out of the hollow body position, because they want to know, you want them to know whether or not they're doing it correctly. So if they're in this position here and you slowly have them come out of it, they're going to feel this point maybe where they get to right about here or something, where they just collapse, and you're going to see that the shape of their back changes, their lumbar spine won't be touching the ground, maybe their hips will start going more anterior, their ribs are going to pop out, all these things are going to change. The other thing is if people are in their hollow body position and you just slowly push down on their feet a little bit, see if they have that tension to rock. Sometimes just pushing on their feet just a little bit, they'll feel everything break out as well. So you want to make sure they maintain that. For the rocks, when we do the hollow body rocks, one of the cues you want to think about is you want the distance between your feet and your hands to be the same. What I mean is you don't want to start flapping. When you do the hollow body rocker, it should be a nice smooth motion. So I'll show you what we're looking for. I'll show you common faults, and then we'll talk about scaling and substitution. So from your hollow body position, you can start by kind of leaning forward a little bit, but notice that the distance between my hands doesn't move. I'm not flapping my hands like this. I'm not kicking my legs around. I'm just going back and forth like this, and the distance is the same. So the hollow rock is just getting that motion in, and if you really want to be strict, I would say maybe going so your shoulder blades touch, and so maybe your heels just touch or just barely come off the ground. Shoulder blades to heel is what we're looking for. But if people don't quite get full range of motion, as long as they're maintaining that tension, that's really important. What we want to avoid the hollow rocker, sometimes people will kind of get confused and they'll sort of do something like this. It's not a crunching motion. It's not meant to be dynamic through your spine or your core. It should be solid isometric movement. So you want to make sure people are strong and stiff in this movement. I would say like a rocking horse or a rocking chair, something like that is the image you want to convey in this. Because this movement is really tough, you want to think about how to scale back. So probably my favorite way to scale back variations of this is just by doing contralateral dead bugs. So this is your home position on the dead bugs. And from here, my toes are not in plantar flexion. I'm trying to maintain dorsiflexion, fingertips up to the sky. And with dead bugs, when you do them contralaterally, you just come down here with control, just keep your hand and heel just off the ground, come back up. That could be a rep. So you could just do this. And that is a good substitution that most people will probably find an appropriate challenge.